Hi, I'm Pradyum Reddy. I'm the CEO of Dempo Sports Club.
So Pradyum, what were your initial thoughts when you got this offer at your plate?
It's been on the cards for a while in a way. I've always wanted to be involved in a club in Goan football and to be at one of the top clubs, not just in Goa but all across India historically as well. It's just a fantastic opportunity, and there's a chance to do so much in Goa because there's a proper ecosystem in Goa with football. So it's been something that I've worked towards, and just everything aligned at the right time, and it's the perfect place to be, I think, in football at the moment in India.
The changes you had to make or you planned to make when you started off and took this role out?
So I think there's a lot of things you can directly affect, and there's a lot of things you sort of have to react to the ecosystem. Certain things like the second division. Obviously, the intention for the senior team is always to play at the highest level. That's to try and get into the ISL via the I League, so to get out of the second division. So the first place, obviously, you have to win your local leagues. Done that, and the next obviously depends on the way the structure of the second division is, and you have to react to it. But irrespective of that, there's an academy that has to be run as well, and the idea is always, when the academy was started, was to start produce the best players in Goa and start to produce some of the best players in India. And I think we're not quite there in terms of reaching that. We need more and more players from the academy going on to play top level football, whether it's I League, ISL. And I think hopefully in the next couple of years we start seeing more and more players coming out of here and playing top flight football.
How has the experience been so far?
It's been a great challenge. I think there's a lot to pass on, there's a lot to learn. And I think there's also the business side of it, which often gets ignored in Indian football. I mean, you have to try and we use the word sustainable. It's difficult for ISL teams to be sustainable. It's a little bit easier the lower down you go, the second division and the I League. And as a local club as well, you have to look at the ecosystem and look at how you can develop more players, develop more coaches, how you can help, go in football. And I think that's the direction we also have to look at as well. You have a social responsibility, you have a community responsibility, and it's not just results, it's not just about winning.
And what does, as you mentioned now about the sustainability aspect, how does the future look like? Because we thought that, everyone in the football thought when the big clubs from Goa pulled off, they would be no more. But Dempo is definitely putting out a statement there that doesn't mean end to them just because they pulled off from ISL. So how does the future look for Dempo and for you?
I think if you look at what we've done this year, the senior teams won the Goa Pro League again, so that's a step in the right direction. We can continue to play in the second division, which, let's be honest, it's not a bad platform to be at. If you're an academy and you're producing players, if your players can play in the Goa League, the Under-20 League in Goa, the Reliance League, which has recently started, the Developmental League, you can play in local youth competitions as well as in the second division, you're getting your players the ideal platform to play 40 games a season. So from that aspect, it's great. We've hosted a FIFA course, a C license ongoing, and now the Pro license. So with the infrastructure we have, we're capable of hopefully in a year's time doubling that and hosting 6 coaching courses, like whether it's a B license all the way down to a D and an E. And I think we need to be at the forefront of coach education as well, not just producing players, producing coaches, and that's an important role to play. And I think one area that's untapped at the moment in Goa is schools football and getting involved more in schools, getting involved in baby leagues. FC Goa is doing a fantastic job with their Little Goa's League, and it should almost encourage the other teams. Or maybe Salgaoka does one in the south, we do one centrally around Panjim, so that there's more football for kids to play in Goa. And I think if all the clubs start working towards that goal, I think we can start uplifting Goan football to get it back to the standards where it used to be.
Now, since you mentioned coach education, I also want to add 2 more questions under that aspect. Is one where you yourself is undergoing the pro license and being from the host as well as one of the participants. Do we get to see Pradyum back on the field as a coach, or is it just adding up to the knowledge?
A bit of both, I think. It's important for every staff member here at Dempo to upskill themselves. So that you have to lead by example. So, me as a CEO, I have to look to get the highest level of coaching licenses and then look to continue my learning. And similarly, everyone at the club, the coaches at the under-13 level, the managers working with the academy teams, are also looking to get their C licenses or B. Some have upgraded to an A. So 50% of the staff have upskilled themselves. And I think personally, yes, I'd like to have more of a role on the field because I enjoy it and I do miss it a bit. But I think I'm more likely to get involved with youth than with the senior team at the moment, because I think that's the need of the hour at the moment for football that you have coaches working with the youngest levels who have the experience of working with that level, because in one way, because they've been there, done it with the senior teams, and it doesn't really entice me at the moment the way the ecosystem is at the senior level, whereas can make more of a change and more of an impact working with the younger age groups.
Right, now you mentioned also for the team here in Goa and how you've been created stuff. If you can tell us more a bit about the staff here, the coaching staff and the others, how has it been since you've come on, and a bit also about the team on field, the players that you guys have.
I think if you look at the staff, been fantastic. They've been successful on the field. Last year we won the Goa League, the Under-20 League. And I think coaches want to try and get better and want to push themselves as well to play at the higher levels. The senior team coaches want to be involved at the I-League level and want to coach there. So, it's our job to facilitate that. So in an ideal situation, the team moves up to that league so they can compete in that. Similarly, the coach of the academy teams have upgraded themselves in their coaching licenses. They look to play tournaments outside. They went to the Stafford Cup. Had reasonable results for a first time out. We've tested the academy team against senior teams in Goa, semi-finals of the Police Cup. So things are moving in that upward direction, but we have to build on that. So I think the coaches are eager to learn, and that's the kind of coaching staff we want, who can understand the dynamics of running a proper academy now. So it's not just come in, put your training sessions on the field, it's also about challenging yourself, going and playing teams from outside. Or we've invited Reliance to come here, we've had some other academies come here, because we want to pit ourselves and see how we're doing against teams from different regions and how we're matching up against them. And that helps you as a coach. The games help you grow as a coach. So I think we're moving there, but slowly.
Now, I think you started off with this point that this club holds a lot of history with it, right? We've also seen, when you enter the office, which I got the privilege of, you see the book that's out there,
Yep.
which talks for the 50 years of Dempo. Now, being part of such a club, do you feel the pressure, or is it a challenge with it?
Yeah, there's obviously a little bit of pressure. I mean, there's a name to uphold, and there's standards that you want to maintain, and you've got to be at the top. I mean, you're expected to win things like the Goa Pro League. You're expected to, when we enter the second division, people just thought, okay, Dempo is going to get into the I-League. But the reality is, Goan football has dropped significantly in the last decade. It's not what it used to be. So the players aren't coming through the system. So you have a responsibility just not only to get the results, but also to try and uplift the whole Goan football, because people look at clubs like Salgaonkars, FC Goa, Dempos to see what are they doing and how are they helping the next generation of footballers. So I think at the same time, you can't rest on your laurels of, all right, we've won this, we've done that in the past, because whatever's in the past is history. And you have to sort of adapt to the changing times. I mean, football has changed in India, and maybe Goan football hasn't adapted as well, and other states have moved ahead. So I think we, as a club, also have to look at where we were, and just because we're winning in those days doesn't mean we can go back to doing a lot of those things. We have to adapt and be more modern. We probably have to look forward and look at what clubs in India at the top level, what clubs in maybe in West Asia or in East Asia, look at some of those clubs and say, can we try and match those Asian standards before we even look beyond that? So I think there's also a responsibility to make sure we do that.
And finally, if for all those watching this video, what would a message be from your end as a representative of Dempo? You can speak to the larger audience of Indian football, all the stakeholders. What would you want all of us to look forward to from Dempo?
I think what you can look forward to is there's going to be a lot more promising young players coming through the system, and I think if we give them more exposure, we'll start seeing more of them playing in the I-League and with possibly some of the ISL teams. We've got coaches attending this pro license course who are from a lot of the ISL teams and some I-League teams, and they've been impressed by a lot of these young players. So hopefully there'll be more of them moving and out and challenging themselves at that level. And at the same time, similarly, we will be hosting more courses for coaches and coach education. The door's always open for not just the people who are attending the course, but anybody who wants to come and observe, watch and learn. The doors are always open at the facility and at the academy for coaches, because I think we have to do this together as an Indian football community, and it can't be teams doing things in isolation. And hopefully with the stakeholders in Goan football and the others around, there's more football, because we have the infrastructure. Now we just need to make sure we use it to max capacity, whereby we're getting a lot more games for the kids to play in, and then hopefully we all move in the right direction.